guys, it's Stephanie. Welcome back to the Cantina. More in the second video of the day. Please remember, subscribe if you haven't. Hit the bell for more content. Smash that like button and share away here. We share away here for love Star Wars. This video is about the crazy, creepy things about Raylos and the fact that they've doxed Adam Driver. Ew. So get ready, because I'm ranting. Hey guys, it's Steph. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Feel free to subscribe, hit the bell for more content, hit that like button, and share away here. We share away here for love of Star Wars. I am talking today about, and I promised this video yesterday, but I'm getting out today. Today about how TLJ and basically Lucasfilm in general is now dissing George Lucas and some of the ideological stuff behind it. So you want to pull up a chair, sit down, pull up a bar stool, order a drink, sit down and watch what I got to say. Get ready. And oh, by the way, sorry, no ranting. Hey guys, it's Stephanie. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Please feel free to pull up a bar stool, order a drink, pull up a chair to a table, call over the wait staff. We have plenty of girls, guy waiters, alien waiters, I don't know. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about the big diss of George Lucas in The Last Jedi. Now, I'm going to give you a little bit of a background. For many years, the culture has been appropriated. I'm going to use that word because SJWs love to use it against normal people. By people who have nefarious purposes. They are not artists. They are not creative people in any way. They're ideologues. They're hacks. They're political hacks. And, you know, you find them everywhere right now, all over the place. I mean, they're basically controlling Hollywood in a way. I have been told by a number of people that the top execs are getting kind of sick of it. But let's say they're still controlling it. And they found their way to Lucasfilm. That is not to say that George Lucas is not a quote-unquote liberal. He does vote Democrat. What it does say is that they have gone further to the left than him. And they control Lucasfilm. But first off, because this is going to be aimed at Rian Johnson, Kathleen Kennedy, and some people that work in the story group, but just 1 second, because I want to read you. Okay, here's the quote. Socialism is the philosophy of failure, the creative ignorance, the gospel of envy. Its inherent virtue is the equal sharing of the misery. Winston Churchill said that. Now, as someone who grew up in the 1970s and 80s, it wasn't cool to be a socialist in the country. Democrats didn't like it. Democrats were what we would call in politics blue dogs. Blue dog Democrats are basically Kennedy Democrats. Guys that kind of looked at things and going, what's best for the country, what's best for the people, not what's best to steal from one and take from the other. See, Abraham Lincoln once said, you cannot take from the rich man, you cannot build up one person by taking from another. You can't steal from the rich man and build up the poor man by taking from someone who's got more. You can't. You end up with Venezuela. All right, so how does this connect to Lucasfilm and what's going on there and Hollywood in general? There are lots of memes out there, right? And they came right after George Lucas sold Lucasfilm for a very paltry sum, I would say, of $4.5 billion to Disney. Biggest mistake he ever made in his life, by the way. And here's the deal. These memes show him floating around in a great big thing full of dollars and, you know, and the people, there are a lot, you know, and like I've said before in other videos, there's a lot to be said about pride and envy. Both are bad. False pride is very bad. envy is a result of that, okay? It ends up hurting the person who feels false pride and envy, all right? Don't do it. And though these things were, I mean, and I see it in my circles. People go, well, he made his money. You know, without realizing, he gave most of it away. He is using part of it to build his experimental film museum in LA. He has been very generous with the people that worked with him, for so long. You know, gave them part of the legacy when he left Lucasfilm. But there's still so much envy and anger about it. And what's really interesting is when you look at it on the face value of it, the people who are acting out this way are the people who are not as talented, don't have his vision, they don't understand what he did, they don't understand the premise of any of the things that he did or the context. These are people who aren't as educated, who aren't as don't have the same instincts, don't come from a place of true organic creation like a real artist comes from. They can't see the big picture. All right. Because if you're raised materialistically, and I'm not saying you get a lot of things like cars and, you know, stereos and iPhones and that stuff, materialistically can mean lots of things. It's just it's a lack of soul. Okay. These are the people that are complaining about him. All right. And it's really funny. I find it fascinating that they finally got their hands on Lucasfilm. And when you look at TLJ, it is a big middle finger to Mr. Lucas. For instance, and I'll give you this little bit. When he came up with the character of Luke Skywalker, the last name was going to be Starkiller. He changed it to Skywalker because Starkiller, come on, George. I mean, I do have to admit, some of his ideas are a little bit wacky. You know, it's like, you know, let's think this through, man, okay? And, you know, so he named the character for himself. What is more of a big middle finger than in the movie Last Jedi, where you see Luke throw the lightsaber over his shoulder and march away? Strangely enough, he's still in Jedi robes. And then he, you know, Rey follows him, and he goes to the green, I guess they call this sea cow Tali's siren. And he goes and milks it with a bottle thing, and then he drinks it. Now, this to me is an analogy of George Lucas making tons of money off of the merchandise, because Lucas always said, you make the most money on the collectibles, on the merchandise, on the merchandise. You know, and now when I think about it, it's so obvious, and such a ham-fisted piece of propaganda, that whole scene. And the only thing that's even funny about that scene is when Mark Hamill winks. That's a big fuck you back to him. Okay. And so where else is it? It is through the entire movie. Vice Admiral Gender Studies is not a strong woman. She's a terrible character and didn't need to be in it. I mean, you could actually cut that movie in a third without her in it at all. She's just an inset for strong women. You know, in the LGBTQXYZ F you up yours community, right? Doesn't need it. Okay. Rian Johnson, guess what? Back in the 80s, there was a bisexual character, female, in the comic books. So you're about 30 years too late. Okay? But I'm not going to get into that right now. Rose Tico's Maoist diatribe about Canto Bight. And the whole thing about Canto Bight was nothing but a Maoist indoctrination, 30 minutes of Maoist indoctrination. That's what it was. It wasn't needed. George Lucas wouldn't have put that on there because A, it's not Star Wars. It's not what he wanted the story to be about, and B, the propaganda went against everything that, you know, the rebellion fought for, okay? See, here's the deal. When you start peeling back the onion, a lot of these SJWs in Hollywood, they all look alike, they all talk alike, they all act alike. They have a uniform. They're conformists. Basically, Rian Johnson is literally the biggest conformist in Hollywood. He acts like what he's doing is non-conformist. But it is, because everybody he hangs out with does the same thing. That's not what Star Wars is supposed to be about. It's about art. It's about movie making. It's about taking you on an adventure. It's about explaining things about humanity in a wide cultural sense that no one's ever talked about. And not just using human beings, but using different aliens. You know, here's the deal. And I'll leave you guys with this. I want you to think about this, and I want you to put it up against what Disney's done, Rian Johnson and the rest of these phonies, these conformists. George Lucas was able to create entire cultures, entire planets and worlds, and literally like Alderaan, like Tatooine, Coruscant, Naboo, you know, Camino, Utapau, all these places. You go on and on and on and on. And he also created worlds around characters. Luke had a world created around him. Leia had a world created around her. Han had a world created around him. Look at where they came from. These things are what shaped these characters, okay? It's like when you bring someone from Texas, you see how Texas itself, the ground, shaped that person. Idaho, the same thing. Kentucky, the same thing. Wisconsin, the same thing. I'm from Wisconsin. Maryland, the same thing. Florida, the same thing. All right. In the different parts of Florida create a different kind of person, but still, this is what Lucas was able to create. Now, all right, I'll give you an example. Han Solo, because he's my favorite character. You all know that. You have a guy that doesn't have any stability in his life because he never had it. So therefore, his world is kind of chaotic. And he thrives in that. He survives in that because that's what he grew up in. It taught him how to survive, okay? And he's not a naive person. He's a very cynical person because that world also made him cynical. All right? And he had to grow up from it. Keep that which made him who he was and grow up into the man he was supposed to be because of it. And it took Leia from where she came from and Luke from where he came from, and then Rebel Alliance itself to show him, all right, to help him not change but mature. And in a way, every one of them matured in their own way. Every one of them affected each other, and their worlds did this. Created a family, created unity, created a balance. Ultimately, that's what Star Wars is about. Balance of the Force. Okay? That's what George Lucas created. What Rian Johnson created was chaos, lack of self-awareness, ridiculous, uncharacteristic behavior. Yoda, Frank Oz, you're wrong about that. Ridiculous storytelling, not consistent, zero continuity with what J.J. Abrams was trying to do, and basically telling us all, ultimately, George Lucas himself, because of those sayings and the things I told you, to F off. Because, again, what is Rian Johnson if he's not anything else? He is a left-wing, hardcore, identity politics-driven ideologue who is full of false pride, envy, greed, and ambition. He is not creative, he is not an artist, he can't write, and he's also shallow. And he was the one to represent the angry, fetid, greedy, pride-filled, envious faction all right? And a lot of these guys, I'm gonna add this, one last thing, and a lot of these people, including Pablo Hidalgo and Rian Johnson, are all prequel haters. And yet the prequels are better than anything that they've made so far. So this is Steph, signing out. I'll see you around the galaxy, see you around the cantina. Please remember to tip your Wookiee bartenders 20%, and don't start anything in the cantina, because if my bouncers, who are also Wookiees, really big guys too, start up, I can't stop them, and it's really expensive to replace stuff that they break. So I'll see you around. Hey guys, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for watching my video. Thanks for being my friends, my friendly neighborhood subscribers and bar patrons. You know, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Hit the bell for more content. Hit the like button. I need lots and lots of likes. And please feel free to share. We share way here for love of Star Wars. And I will see you around the galaxy. You around the cantina. And till next time.